Hey, Crystal Maiden here, and this is part 4 of Tails' Adventure. So that's how the night vision goggles work. You go into a completely pitch black area, and then you just use it once, and then the entire area sort of lights up, and you can see everything. Now, if only the lantern worked that way in the Zelda games. Like, this is basically working like the candle in Zelda 1, but a lot better. Because you can't get hurt by the fire. And the item radar is completely useless. It lets you know if you missed an item in the area, but it doesn't tell you where the item is. It doesn't show you an arrow indicating how far away it is or what direction you need to go to get it. It's basically only there if you don't want to look up a map for the game and follow along with it. So, it's nice that you have a red cave for once, instead of one that's inexplicably green. Not really sure how a cave can be green though. And I hate these things. I hate how small their hitboxes are. And I feel like I hate this level. I feel like this is the worst level in the game. There's this one part of it that's really annoying because you have to break the ceiling above you. And until that point in the game, I had never actually been expected to break the ceiling above me before. So, obviously that idea never occurred to me. Also, this level introduces bottomless pits. If you fall down that pit, then you'll be sent back to Act 1. Well, technically the first level to have bottomless pits in it was the area that gave you the Knuckles item. You fell down the pit and it brought you all the way back to the map screen. Which was actually pretty helpful because you go there on purpose to quickly backtrack back to the map screen. Because backtracking through Act 1 of Poloi Mountain is really tedious because you try to backtrack and the breakable walls respawn after you leave the screen and come back. And it's really hard to break one of those breakable walls from the other side because there's no floor for you to stand on from the right side. So you gotta fly over it with remote bombs and hope that it manages to break it. The graphics for the floor here kind of confused me. I felt like it was hiding you fall through the floor, but actually you can walk on it just fine. And this is what I mean. Not only does the ceiling not look like you can break it at all, but how are you supposed to know that you're supposed to do that? You throw the bomb and you hold up while you're doing it, and that's how you angle your bomb throwing so that it goes upwards. But how are you supposed to know that you can angle your bomb throwing at all? How are you supposed to know that it's not completely fixed to one direction? And this part of the level is the reason why this is my least favorite level in the game. Oh yeah, I was so frustrated that I accidentally hit the camera stick, and when you do that in the Gems collection, it makes the screen look like it's on their Game Gear. And a lot of people like to play it that way. But yeah, if you screw up in this section, then you'll have to leave the screen and come back to respawn those platforms. Because you need to make sure that you can still use them as platforms to jump across. If you break the bottom half of these things, then you won't be able to stand on them, and so you won't be able to jump over to them. Like, who thought this was a good idea? I thought this would be fine when I came back to it, because I knew what to do. But even after you've already done it successfully, it can still be very easy to screw up. Like, this is the level that really tests whether or not you know that you can angle your bomb throwing upwards. because being able to break the ceiling above you is really helpful here. But the game never tells you that you can do that in the first place. So you break the ceiling above you, and you go here. Another thing is that you gotta make sure that you don't break the ceiling too much, or you won't be able to use it to jump to the right from here. At least there's rings for you to collect there. And thankfully you can still fly over to that platform, but you can't fly over. Actually, you can. And it really didn't look like I should have been able to fly there. It looked like I should have just hit the wall, but I'm not complaining. And this one you have to jump to. Sometimes it can be kind of annoying when Tails decides to just automatically climb a ledge or hang on a ledge and you don't want to. And he does it over and over again when you're telling him to stop. So now you use the remote robot to go through this thing and collect the item that you need for this area. Just like with the previous level, there's no boss fight at all. So you might be confused beating this level, but you're pretty much done. The large bomb is mandatory for beating the game, so you really do need to get it. So now I'm returning to Volcanic Forest because I have an item that can... Because I remember backtracking to this place unnecessarily because I forgot that I had already collected the radio. But, no, I think, yeah. So, that's how you unlock Caron Forest. You just do what I did, and that's how you get there. Caron Forest is one of the best levels you'll play in a long time, especially Act 1. Act 2 can be kind of annoying, but Act 1 at least is pretty good. The enemies are a lot less annoying. A lot of the time the level has you take advantage of the fact that you can make the remote robot push springs and then jump on those springs to get to higher areas. This time, you have to push a boulder, and then you just jump on that boulder, and you're able to get the extra height you need to jump on here, and then jump up here, and then climb up that ledge. Because there's wind, so you wouldn't be able to get there otherwise. Now, you don't want to go to the right. Because this is a Metroidvania, you really want to explore every single inch of every level. So let's go to the left here, and see what items we can find. Also, I love the music for this place. Like, it's pretty cool. Like, I'm always grateful when I hear new music, because I don't like how this game reuses old music. But yeah, we've got a pretty big health meter, don't we? We got, like, 60 rings by this point. That's 60 health points. I'm still not quite sure what this is good for. I mean, you can fly, so it really doesn't... And there's nothing preventing you from flying. So why is that spring there? I had a lot more trouble with this than I should have. Because I didn't realize that you could get the item to the right just by continuously pushing that spring to the right and then getting that item. Because I thought that there would be a wall a lot more to the left of where it ended up being. But you can just push the spring to the right and you'll get the item, even though the spring is covering up the item. But I just got the triple bomb, and the triple bomb is a superior version of the regular bomb that you're using now. Only it makes the screen shake, which is especially annoying if you're playing this on HD television and not on a Game Gear where the screen is smaller. It's not really that bad though. It's just annoying that your regular attack after this dungeon will be a screen shaking one. And the triple bomb is necessary for beating the game, so you really do want to get it. And I haven't talked much about the hammer. The hammer is basically a short-range weapon in a game where projectiles is the method of attacking. And I have a feeling that that hammer is the same Pico Pico hammer that Amy uses to attack later on in the series. I mean, it's never been outright confirmed, but it's pretty likely. The reason why this level is annoying is that this level makes it really glaring that the spring will reset back to its original position if you move too far away from it. So, you've got to send the remote robot over to the left of the spring and stay here. If you don't stay here, then by the time you come back here, then it'll be back to its original position. You'll have to do it all over again. And you also don't want to push the spring to the left, because then it'll be right against the wall, and you won't be able to get it back to the right so that you can actually jump on it. So now I come over here and... Wait, I forgot to bring the remote bomb. Shit. You can actually break this without using the remote bomb, but it's really tricky to do and really luck-based. So I basically just gave up, left the level, and they came all the way back with the remote bomb. But unfortunately I forgot to record getting the item. I thought I recorded it, but yeah, you get the proton torpedo from there. And the proton torpedo is an accessory for your submarine. It's used to destroy something later on to progress through the level. But surprisingly enough, the proton torpedo is actually not mandatory for being in the game. You can just use the mines in place of it, and it'll be fine. You can also use the proton torpedo as a weapon. I think it homes in on stuff, but I never actually used it, aside from that one supposedly mandatory part. So the proton torpedo is actually pretty useless. So now we're going back to Volcanic Tunnel because we need to blow up this wall with the large bomb in order to get to here. This is how you get to the boss of Volcanic Tunnel. And this is the easiest boss in the game. Especially if you go with the method that I'm going to show you. Because there's two different paths that you can take to get to the boss of this place. There's the hard way and the easy way. And this is kind of annoying because it really makes it obvious how you have to wait a while before it blows up. It's not like the remote bomb where you can just instantly make it blow up. So you have to spend several seconds doing this, and I really would prefer it if you just used your regular bombs and just flew ahead over it. It feels like that's just padding, because you already used the large bomb to get to this act in the first place. But yeah, I'm going to show you the smart way to deal with this boss. But even if you don't use this route, it's still pretty easy if you know exactly what to do. I mean, I had trouble with it at first, and I felt like I was doing something wrong. And that's why I decided to take this path afterwards. Because yeah, you can actually leave in the middle of the boss fight and backtrack and go to this route after taking the other one. The weak spot of the boss is actually the lights on the back of it, which is kind of unintuitive. But if you're on the right side, you can just fly over it and keep on dropping bombs, and you'll avoid all of its projectile attacks. But a better way to deal with it is to do what I'm doing now. He doesn't even know you're there, and it's completely impossible for him to do anything against you because you're to the left of him and right behind him. So, now that you've defeated the boss, you can actually stand on top of where the boss's machine used to be and jump up to a higher area. Which I found pretty unintuitive when I first beat the boss and I wandered around not really knowing what I was supposed to do next. So you got the extra armor, and it's pretty convenient that you have a way to return to the map screen right after that. Like you don't have to backtrack through the whole place. They call it Rocket Booter because they don't have enough space to call it the Rocket Booster. But yeah, you just got 2 more accessories for the submarine. And they're going to be really important. Like, both of them are practically mandatory for beating the game, especially the Rocket Booster. I'll see you in the next part for the next part of Tails' Adventure.